actually streaming. So I believe we're now on streaming. So welcome back to this course, Module A, 1A, Linux Identity, Permission and Control. This is one of the most tested areas in interview. We will cover identity, users and groups, file ownership, permissions, chmod, chown, privilege, root, sudo, su, process ownership, how Linux decides access, and real interview questions. And number 8, hands-on lab. So the foundation identity in Linux. What is a user? A user is an identity that runs processes and owns files. And we have the first example, who am I? So a user is an identity that runs process and owns files. So we can own processes, we can run processes and we have ownership of files. Who am I? And if you want to give it a test, we can go down here, and I already have my Linux installed, Ubuntu. If you guys want me to show you how to set up, I'm running this on a VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox, very easy to set up. If you want me to start from the beginning with a setup of Linux, let me know on the comments, and I'll be glad to make a video on how to set up. It's pretty easy, it will take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes to have this. So let's start in who am I? Marco, perfect. So this is what we have here. So now, what is a group? A group is a collection of users used to share permissions. Example, groups. So if we type over here, groups. Now we have Marco, ADM, CD-ROM, sudo, deep, plug dev, lx, and docker. Let me try to see if I can zoom this. Not sure if the command of zooming will work here. I should probably look into the settings and things like that. View full screen, adjust window size. Scale mode. Virtual machine window will now switch to scale mode. You can go back to window mode at any time by pressing host and C. Note that the host keys is defined as right control to right control. Okay. The main menu. Okay, switch. So it switches to this. Scaled. I'm not sure if it's better. Can you guys see better this way? I can actually see a lot better. Let me know for you guys if it's clear enough. It looks a lot bigger. The only thing is that my chat box is gone from here. Yeah, the chat stayed behind. So I'm gonna bring it over here. Okay. Trying to resize this here because it's taking a lot of space. I don't know why. Bear with me. This is, like I said, the first stream. So we're trying to get set up. Properly. All right, I think we're good here. I'm not sure why this is happening. It's overflowing. And I'm trying to... This is overflowing and it's not letting me... This is annoying. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to come back to the other mode because... Or I'll try to work like this. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the course. So now we know groups. Every user has UID, user ID, primary group, and secondary groups. User has UID, user ID, primary group, GID, and then secondary groups. ID, so if we type ID here, we have an ID, Marco GID, Marco groups, 1000, and so on. So the mental model is think user equals a person, group equals a team, file equals resource, permission, access, rules. So the user is the person, the group is the team, the file is a resource, and the permission is the access rule. Then we have the file ownership. You have to check the ownership. Okay, so if we type ls -l, it will say D. So this is a folder. D means a folder. RWX, so it's readable, writable, executable. That's for the owner. Then for the group is readable, writable, executable. And then for others is readable and executable. And that's lab. I believe it's actually a folder. Okay, here you see Marco Dev Team file. So let's go and check what's inside. To change directory, CD lab, and then we're gonna do an ls minus l, and we have file 1. So file 1, so when we want to change the permission, as you can see, file 1 has it's readable, writable, readable, writable, and then readable. So let's see what we're gonna do, like this one over here. Hold on, you guys actually are not seeing this. I was doing the commands without seeing. This is one thing I have to remember, is to actually go to my OBS and actually show you the screen. If not, you're not gonna be able to see it. So this is what I was talking about. File 1, let's say we want to change the permissions. What we do is, to change the permission, let's say we want to make the permission like this one, the one you see, RW, R, and R. Now we have, as you can see here, file .1, it's RW, RW, and R. We want 2 R's, RW and then R. So how do we do this? I'm gonna put numbers here so you guys understand. So RWX equals to 7, RW equals to 6, and RNX equals 5, and just R equals 4. So remember that. This is something you need to remember. This is for the permissions. 7, you give all the rights. You give read, write, and execute. X is for execute, R is for read, and W is for write. Then R and W is for read and write, is 6. And then R and X means read and execute, it's 5. And then R means only readable, it's 4. So I hope you got this. So now I want to change file 1 dot, the permissions currently are RW, RW, R. So basically, if we go with what we just said, it's 6, 6, and then 4. It should be this 6, 6, 4. But now I want to change it to this one, like that, RWRR. So that's 6, 4, 4. So how do we do this? So we're gonna go over here, back to our terminal, and we're gonna do chmod file 666 and then 4. And now we have an invalid chmod file 1 644 invalid mode. So why we have an invalid mode, I'll tell you why. Because we did it wrong. It's actually 644. We have to put this first and then a file at the end. File 1 dot sh. There you have it. So now it works. So now if we do the command as before, this ls minus l. Now you see it's the same as the one we have on this tutorial, the RWRR. So it's for the owner, it's read and write, and the two others are only read. So I hope you understand this. We're gonna move on. So now change ownership. How do you change the ownership? So presently the file belongs to Marco and Marco the group. Now we're gonna do Marco dev team. But I believe dev team, do we have a group dev team? If we go on the top, we do not have a team, a group. So how do we create a group? Let's go and try to create a group. So I would go and I would do sudo because we want to be root. We're going to be admin. Let's see if it works. And then I believe it's group add, and then the name of the group dev team. Might be right, I might be wrong, I don't know, we'll see. Oh, it actually works. So you enter your password. So we added the group dev team. Oh, it actually already exists. So why we were not able to see that group? That's a very good question. So let's ask ChatGPT. We're gonna go from here. And we're gonna ask the question to ChatGPT. Why it said that dev team already exists, but it was not on the list of groups. So let's see what it will respond. Excellent query. This is exactly the kind of detailed technical interview with test. Why you see this? Sudo group add dev, I got it. Group dev already exists. But when you run group, you did not see dev team. This is normal. Here's why. So groups, all groups on the systems. Groups shows only the groups your current user belongs to. Okay, so you see? It's only the ones I belong to. The group does exist. Linux stores all groups in a shared group. So to do that, we need to do this command. Let's go and try that command. So let's go and try that command. The command will be something about grep cat cat etc. groups, and then grep etc. group grep dev team. dev team, etc. Group grep dev team does not exist. Why? Because probably we're not in the correct folder. Let me see. So we need to give the absolute path. Okay, so we found it. Dev team. Only dev user belongs to dev team. So what this means, it means that dev team exists, but your user is not part of it. How to fix? Okay, how do we change the user to, so it's sudo user mod. So we going back to the terminal, and we're gonna do sudo user mode, then small a with a G, and then dev team. And who do we want to add to this team? Is this one, user mode, or mode without the E? Could it be? Yeah, it didn't even ask for a password. So this is done. So if we do again the command cat grep dev team, now we have the dev user, and we have also Marco that belongs to the dev team. Okay, so now we're gonna exit. If we go back in, I'm gonna clear the screen. Now we do groups. We should see dev team. There you have it. We have now dev team also part of the list. So the groups command only shows the group associated with the current user session. Not all groups defined on the system. Groups are stored in a shared group, and a group can exist without any user assigned to it. So basically, we only see the groups that we belong to. Common mistake, you just hit it. Many beginners think if I don't see in groups, it doesn't exist. Wrong. So the difference is critical. Groups your groups ID, your user plus groups, and then extra groups is all groups. But I want to go back to see if we didn't miss anything else here. Oh yeah, we have a lot of things to go. Okay, So why does chmod 77 matter? Strong answer. It gives you full read and write execute access to everyone with creation major security risks and should rarely be used. Why can a user kill another process? Okay, this is about killing process. We're gonna come back to this. So instead we're gonna go with this. So we can create, we don't need, already have two. So this, the users, I'm not gonna create. Group add project, we already created also group add dev. And then this command, we already use it, user mode, project user B, create shared. This is how you create a file by doing touch, shared. So let's see if we have a file here, lab. So let's go and do an ls. We have lab, so let's go on that folder lab and do an ls. So we have file 1sh. So we already did that. We already changed the permissions with chmod. And if we want to see this file, ls -l file. So let's say we want to change the permission shown file 1, and we say to dev user, oh, it's the other way around. So chown dev user file 1 dot sh, changing a file operation not permitted. So what about we do sudo chown dev user file 1 dot sh. So now the permissions were changed. So now if we do this, now this file belongs to dev user, the ownership, and the group is Marco. So how about if we want to change, let's see history here. And history we did, I use sudo user mode. Okay, perfect. So that's what I wanted to remember. User mode with team. Okay. Let's clear this. Now what I want to do, I want to change the ownership. Now, if you look carefully, that file, file 1, it belongs to dev user, but the group is Marco. I want the group to be dev team. How do I do this? So let's do sudo, and then we do, what was the command? I know these are H and G, and then we go file 1 sh, Could it be like that? Marco, actually dev team. But there's something missing here. Sudo what? The thing is user mod. Let's try it. User mod group file doesn't exist, so it's the other way around. So the dev team first, and then the file 1. Okay. User file does not exist. Here I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change the user, the group, which is not what we want. It's not exactly what we want. So let's go and get some help, because it's not exactly what I wanted to do. It's chown user project chair. So it should be user, the name of the user, the group, and then the file. Yeah, I had it totally wrong. Change the ownership. The user, we said the user is dev user. The group right now it's Marco. And then what's the other one? The name of the file. The name of the file is file1.hs. General file operation not permitted. So what do? We need to put a sudo before, and now it's change. So if we do again, but now the dev user belongs to file. Yeah. We changed the ownership, but it looks the same. So let's ask, I change the ownership, but it looks the same after I change the ownership. So you thought you changed something, but you changed it to the same values. Okay, those are the mistakes that I did. User mode is for users. Chown is for files. Chmod is for files. How to really see change owner properly. Sudo chown marco dev file. Then check. So basically should do this. So the user is Marco, and I want to put dev team here. Okay. So now we have Marco and the dev team. Okay. That's to change ownership of the files. So let's go back, see what we were doing here on the top. So where's the course? Let me see. Let's go back to the tutorial. Continue. Module A, Part 2, Real Permission Debug Interview Level. This is what a technical lead will test. User B cannot access a file. Why? If you can solve this calmly, you pass. How Linux decides access matter this. When a user tries to access a file, are you the owner? Yes, user owner permission. No, go next. Are you in a group? Yes, user group permissions. No, go next. Step 3, others, user others, permissions. Critical rule, Linux uses only one layer, not all combined. For example, bash 1 Marco dev team file text, meaning who, Marco owner, read and write, dev team group, read, and then others none. The scenario, this is an interview level. Scenario 1, user B is not in dev team. Can they read the file? So let's do this too. User B is not in dev team. Can they read the file? No. False to others, no permission. Scenario 2, user B is in dev team. Can they read the file? Yes, group has R. Scenario 3, file is read, write, execute Marco dev team. User B is in dev team. Can they run? They can run it? No. No, because group has no permissions, only owner matters. This is where people fail. They think user in group, so it should work. Wrong, only works if group permission allows it. Debugging method, very important. When access fail, always check Who am I? What groups do I have? So groups. And what are the file permissions? Okay, ls minus l hyphen l. MathLogic owner, user owner, group, use group, else others. Hands-on lab, real test. Okay, first do exactly this, create users. Okay, I want this, but I don't want him to give me the... We'll see, we're gonna test our knowledge. Step 7, we have 7. Can you give this test without the command to see if I got it? We don't want to just copy and paste, we want to do it ourselves. So permission scenario test, no command text. There is a Linux system with user A, user B, a group called dev team. A file exists, user A, secret text, file properties, owner user A, group dev team, permission 640. Okay, so this exists, home user A. So for the purpose of this, we're gonna go and do it. We're gonna do this. So we're gonna create first a secret text and a user A. So we are in the lab. Let's create a user first. How do you create a user? Let's try without the sudo and see if it works. User add. And we're gonna say user A. Perfect. So then we're gonna do a sudo. So it worked, I think. Okay. It would be a good thing to ask, how do we search users? It's something that we didn't ask. Okay, so then we're gonna do we're gonna actually user A. We created a user A, but we didn't give no password or anything like that. So if I go exit and I do user A, it's incorrect login, but I didn't ask me for a password. Yeah, so now we have 2 questions. First question. first question is we need to find out hold on 1 second. We have a question, and it's first question is we created a user using sudo user add user A, but now I cannot log in on that user. It asks for password, but at creation shell did not ask for password. Second, where do we see all users list? So this is two things that we don't know. Good. This is exactly the kind of confusion we fix early so you don't get stuck. Yeah, we need to get the foundations right in order to continue this course. You ask two things, I'll answer clearly, then bring you back to the test. Why you can log in? Password issue. You said I created a user, but it asks password and I didn't set one. That depends on which command you use. User user A, if you use, creates the user, does not set a password, does not create a home directory by default. So when you try bash su user, it has password but none exists, login fails. Correct way for beginners, add user A, the command creates user, creates home directory and asks to set password. Fix your current user. Sudo password area user. Okay. So let's go back. So we need to log in first on my account. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna clear this. Now what we're gonna do is say sudo password user A, password for Marco 1, 2, 3, 4, new password. All right, so now we're set. This is the first thing done. So now Linux stores user in a file, password. So that's how we're gonna see everything. So let's go and try that command. Cat etc password, and now we see all the users. Has a bunch of users. Dev, user A, Marco, DevOps. Okay. User. So now it has a home directory. All right, perfect. So that's how we see the users. Let's go and continue. filter real users, grab home. So if we do that, it will give us we see users like explain each line one user, username, UID, group ID, and full home and shell, which contain user meta such as UID, home directory, login shell. Important difference, user add. Oh, so there's user add, low level, no password. Add user interactive sets password. Oh, I didn't know you can actually do both. You can do user add and you can do add user. So add user, it's gonna ask you for everything. One is low level, no password, and the other one is interactive set password. Now back to your test. You started answering the wrong question. We got back to the scenario test I gave you. Answer this start again question. Why could user B not read the file initially? That's not a question we want to answer. We're going to continue what we were doing here. So we created the user. So we're going to log into that user and we're going to assign a group dev team and we're going to create a file secret. You know what? I'm going to take a screen of this because I need to remember this. And we're going to put it here. Okay. We are ready. We're ready to go now. Okay, so we cleared this. So the first thing we need to do, we now have that user. So let's log into that user. If we do su user user A, it's gonna ask for a password. So I'm already there. I can't? What happened? So let's exit. We're gonna change user. So run a command with substitute options, user arguments. And now we have here pass command to the shell with the C option. Fast group L login. Similar to is okay, so let's try now SU. Can we remove a user? What if I do ERM user A? So let's maybe change to etc. Can't even go there. Okay, I can't go there. Why not? What if we go to if we do just an ls here, lab? Can I set it to the root? I'm in the home directory. I only have lab. How about set it to the root? Okay, so now I have here cd etc. Oh, it has Python already here. There's no password here? How come he said that everything was on the password? Okay, let's go and check what it says here. Our friend why I was not able to connect to user, and how do we delete users. Cannot change directory. The user exists, but the home directory don't know why. Because you likely use user add user A. This create user, do not create home. Create home directory manually. I have to make a directory. Sudo and make a directory -p home user A. Sudo chown user A home or better in the future add user A. No such. Why deletes file not user? If it's a system entry in a teacher, how do you delete user correct way? Sudo user del user. And it also removes the home directory. It's not a directory. Cat directory. It's a file. So there's a reference between user file, home directory minus how Linux store users, correct wrong commands. So let's try to delete this. So sudo user del user a. So it's done, it's clear. So the user is no longer there. So this is the command we need to learn. Okay, so it's cat etc password, then a pipe, grep, and then home. So we have div user, and now if we do sudo add user, you didn't like that naming. Is it the name that he didn't like? What about mango? Yeah, okay, so that's yes. So we add it to group users. Okay, so we have that user. It's kind of complex, the users and permissions. I don't know why he went directly into users permissions for the first module. Alright, so this is the first live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.